Folks, Melbourne Rectangular Stadium is known for hosting a lot of events over the years, including a lot of teams in the Melbourne area. Today, they can add a Women's World Cup match to their resume as Nigeria and Canada wrap up Group B play. Hello, everyone. I'm Mahir Hassan, your host, and thanks for tuning in on this Thursday night. It is 7:30 here in Phoenix, but it is midday on Friday out in Australia. Melbourne has hosted a lot of events. As I've mentioned, of course, the Australian Open has happened, and at Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, home of three football clubs unto the region in that city, that is. And further on, it now gets the Women's World Cup. It's the African powerhouse Nigeria against the North American powerhouse Canada, as both teams line up for their starting 11 pictures. With that, let's take a look at the starting lineups, and we'll start off with the Super Falcons. In goal today will be number 16, Chiamaka and Andozie. In terms of their field players, they will be running a 4-2-3-1 tonight. In the back will be Ashley Pumpre, Blessing Demehin, Usinache Ohale, and Michelle Alozie. Your holding midfielders today will be Francisca Ordega and Christy Ochebe. Your attacking midfielders for Nigeria will be Antoinette Payne, Asistat Oshola, and Deborah, Abiodun. And up top will be Ifeoma Onu. Of course, this team is led by American Randy Waldrum, who will be leading this team in his first ever World Cup appearance as a head coach and Nigeria's ninth appearance at the tournament. Let's take a look at Canada's starting 11. And in goal for them will be Kaylin Sheridan. They will be running a 4-4-1-1 when it comes to their field players. In the back will be going from left to right Ashley Lawrence, Vanessa Gill, Kadisha Buchanan, and Deanne Rose. In the holding midfielder spot will be Jade Riviere, Julia Grasso, Quinn, and Adriana Leon. Christine Sinclair will be playing your attacking midfielder role, and Jordan Haitema will start up top. Again, a lot of changes for Canada, and very similar to Nigeria, they have a new head coach in Bev Priestman, who is not leading the team there. There's actually an interesting story in my prep for this in terms of what Bev Priestman has done. She's from England, and in her hometown, she actually started playing futsal. Her head coach at the time, and keep in mind, Priestman was 12 when this happened. Her head coach was former Canadian women's national team head coach and current Canadian men's national team head coach, John Herdman. Interesting, you may note that. Telemundo's going through the lineups right now. Again, Nigeria just breaking the circle. Again, like I mentioned, it's summertime here in Phoenix, about 110 degrees outside. Melbourne, it's about half of that temperature right now. It is sunny, but it is 54 outside. A lot of great players, a lot of great people to note in this, including Christine Sinclair, who's had quite a great career for Canada. Of course, leads FIFA when it comes to goals scored and in many other categories, appearances well included in that. Again, a lot of notes on Sinclair in general. 323 appearances. Fans have settled in, and we are underway here from Melbourne Rectangular Park. Canada will be in the red tops, or red and black tops, I should say, and black shorts going from right to left. And Nigeria will be in their Kelly green kits from top to bottom, going from left to right. Throwing now for Ashley Lawrence on the left-hand side for Canada. We're just a mere 26 seconds in, and Nigeria will get possession. Again, as I mentioned, Nigeria making their ninth appearance in the Women's World Cup. That is, they have played in every single Women's World Cup in its existence. Canada has only missed one Women's World Cup, and that was back in 1991, the first edition of this tournament. This one brought down by Heel in the middle, and Quinn will play it out on the wing, a little too far as it goes back for Plumtre as she plays it back to base. Picked up by Canada, and not too much on the ball there by Leon, it looked like. Yeah, it was Leon. Flipped away. Once again, Canada on the front foot going into this. As I mentioned, this will wrap up Group B play. Group B started off yesterday. If you were in Australia, if you're in the US, that was earlier today, as Australia beat Ireland 1-0 Interesting move, though, as their captain and star player Sam Kerr was injured. So that will put up an interesting storyline going into the next few games. This one, long ball played forward, a little too long in that regards, as it settled there and cleared forward by Alozie. On the end, and it will be a throw-in for Nigeria. Let me help you with this. I'm doing this on YouTube and Instagram right now. My Instagram live on the phone is a little bit off kilter, if you will. Nonetheless, throw-in now will be a Lozier, who took the throw-in there, I should say. Pardon me for the stammer. But in the middle, picked off there. Once again, still in the area. And once again, Nigeria's got it back. Whistle blows, and it will be in favor of Canada. It will be whistled there on Uchebe, who came in sliding into this one. So just 2 minutes, 45 seconds. No shots, no nothing right now. Again, that could change as this match goes along. This one pipped forward right immediately in that regards. And pressure keeps on coming. Quinn, right at midfield. Pass it off to Julia Grosso. Out to Lawrence. To the back line it goes with Heel, and then to our fellow center back, Buchanan. Oh, the best touch there. It is interesting to see who is there on that right-hand side. Adriana Leon was playing a little bit higher up, and Deanne Rose might be playing like a right midfielder in ways, even though it is listed as a 4-4-1-1. It does seem interesting to look at Canada's their roster. Quinn Sinclair, little rough touch. Stays with Canada on the right-hand side. Out to Quinn again in the midfield, and once again back to the center circle with Heel. Canada keeping possession so far. Out on the left for Lawrence. Lawrence able to shy away. There's good pressure there on the left wing. It's Ortega the one doing so. Leon on the left, and Leon's been common, or rather a common fact. I cannot get anything out today. Jeez. She's been quite a common factor out on the left-hand side for Canada. Hold up. This one now in the middle. Cut out on the end line, and we'll go out for our first goal kick of the day. 5 minutes in, not too many chances. And again, Francisca Ortega getting into the middle of that clip on. Leon, who was hurtling there, went down in the box. No foul called. Good attendance so far at Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. Around 27,000 seats. And that's, I think, the biggest question for this Women's World Cup, with it being in Australia and Oceania, away from a lot of these countries that have had quite a resemblance, if you will, at the big stage. Lawrence, Quinn, back to Buchanan. Grosso, now once again in back of the midfield for Buchanan. Canada keeping some possession over here. Had a few people from the True North show up down under for this, of course. It's going to be tough to get flights from Vancouver, Toronto, wherever you are in Canada, down to Australia, where Canada will be playing at least their group stage. They could be playing in New Zealand for the knockouts. They've basically decided for this World Cup that there is a split between some teams, or rather half of the teams playing their group stage matches in Australia, and the other half playing in New Zealand. US, we will see tomorrow on the Live React channel, both here on YouTube and on Instagram, will be one of the guys out there in New Zealand. They start off their 2023 campaign against Vietnam, looking to pull the three-peat as they were able to get the victory in 2015 and 2019. Also, to note too, in 2016 and 2020, the United States failed to get the Olympic medal. That is the Olympic gold medal. Long throw here for Canada as it's knocked away. It's good work as it's once again hurtled forward. And maybe a chance here for Nigeria to counterattack, but it is played back there. Out to Poultry on the left. Picked off. Buchanan. Now Heels. Those two will kind of play their private game as we've seen for a while. Out for Rose, and now maybe a chance to go forward. Christine Sinclair out on the right with some space. It was picked off over there by Nigeria. And once again, it's given back towards Canada. Leon got it at the edge of the box. She went down, no foul called. Nonetheless, Quinn keeps it out for Rose. Rose trying to do her best as she sends it into the box a little too far, rather too close for Leon, headed away there. I believe it was Uchebe to do it. Not too much notice of Blessing Demehin and Osinache Ohale, who are your center backs for Nigeria. This one clipped forward again. A lot of long balls from Canada, and more importantly, Christine Sinclair, who has historically been a number 9, has been playing back a lot. Lawrence in the middle. Speaking of Sinclair, here she is, takes a shot, deflected, and it just goes wide. First real chance of the day, and it's Christine Sinclair, the leader in FIFA goals, who almost gets Canada a 1-0 lead. It was deflected, though, but a good chance. And maybe that's what Canada needed to do to try to just get what they wanted. It's hard to see if it took a deflection. If anything, it might have gone off of Leon's head. It looks like it will be a goal kick. But again, I think the biggest stat for anybody watching this match, whether that be on your TV or watching the live react here tonight, is Christine Sinclair, 40 years old, but what a career, making her 6th World Cup appearance. That is the Women's World Cup. 323 appearances overall, 190 goals. Just a little while back, she broke Abby Wambach's record for the most goals scored in the women's game, according to FIFA. Little chat here. I think it's Uchebe getting in a little trouble. She's been around the pitch a lot. This one was a nip on Sinclair and a little tug of the jersey as well. Nonetheless, a good chance here as we're about 10 minutes through this one. Still 0-0 between Nigeria and Canada. The second game in Group B, quite an interesting group overall, I should say, is that you have Canada, Australia, one of the co-hosts, I should say, and with a good chance to maybe get something going closer. 10 minutes through, still 0-0. And it will be Adriana Leon to take the free kick for Canada, about 40 yards outside the box or so. She's going to play this close. Rose with the lower ball in, still in the area. Push from behind as Buchanan was going forward. She's asking for a foul. She's not going to get it. Nonetheless, Canada persists. And she'll pass it back. That is Grosso passing it back towards midfield. Out to Lawrence. And now Leon on the left, dancing, gets past 2 Nigerians. She clips it in, but it's headed away there by Ohale. Dribbles out. It will stay on the touchline, so it will be a throw-in, but deep in attacking territory for the Canadians. I was trying to find a nickname for it. According to FIFA, or rather Fox Sports, Canada is the only team that does not have a nickname. I mean, you could call them the True North, you could call them the Maple Leafs, but nothing official. You know, U.S. are the Stars and Stripes. Nigeria, the Super Falcons, nothing there. Nonetheless, this one sent forward a little too far for Leon, who was in the box, and it will be out for a goal kick. In 12th minute of play, and again, Canada's starting to settle into this match here. 2 games down in this Women's World Cup. Started off yesterday with quite an upset, too, in Eden Park in Auckland, as New Zealand beat Norway 1-0. And in the second game, it was another 1-0 result as Australia beat Ireland. Haitema was trying to play through there for Rose and Leon. By the way, Rose, who is listed as a right back, has almost been playing higher up as a striker position. It's an interesting move there by Deanne Rose. This one knocked out by Plumtre of Nigeria, throwing once again for Canada. Here's Gill. Going forward. The ball out towards Leon. He's going to have to backtrack, though. All the way back towards Heel, who is at midfield. She'll cross it over towards Buchanan. Canada with majority of the possession here in the 13th minute. Few chances as well. None to trouble the goalkeeper for Nigeria, Chiamaka and Ndozie. But still, North American powerhouse, the 2020 gold medal winners at the Olympics, showing what they've got. Back towards Buchanan. Heel. Or Giel, I should say. My apologies. Nonetheless, Leon. Back towards Giel. Good work by Canada so far. Can they turn it into a goal sometime before the first half? Maybe in the next few minutes. As Quinn once again plays it back towards Buchanan. Here's Giel. Finds some space. It skips through. Out towards Lawrence on the left. She tried cutting back. It's knocked out there by Ortega. And we have a corner. First corner of the day for either side. Should be, at least. It looked like it was Ortega with the last deflection. Yep. It's giving the thumbs up indeed. So now it's a real chance for Chiamaka and Ndozie for Nigeria. Straighten out her defense, and for Canada on the other side to maybe get something going. You've got Sinclair in the middle. Quinn looks pretty tall. Haitema, who's playing your up top number 9 role, courtesy of her shirt as well, which is also number 9. Whipped into the box, back post, punched up by Chiamaka. Buchanan sends it back. It's blocked away. Quinn with a chance. That's blocked away as well. So Nigeria's defense keeps on holding still. Maybe a chance for a counter here for the Super Falcons. Little tiki-taka, and the ref's going to call a free kick as it was Asisat Oshola to go down. So far, no goals. Not too many early goals so far as we've seen throughout this Women's World Cup. As both of the goals yesterday for both co-hosts, New Zealand and Australia, happened in the second half. It would be interesting to see how this tournament shapes up, how it's different from last year, how it's rather different from 2019, and maybe different from now. It looks like Oshola is going to get some treatment over there. Randy Waldrum, the head coach of Nigeria, has not gone to the bench yet. Again, as I mentioned, Randy Waldrum, an American head coach, who was appointed to the Super Falcons in 2020. This is his second time coaching at the national level, as he coached Trinidad and Tobago's women's team from 2014 to 2016. The other stints he had were in college, except for one, which was head coach of the Houston Dash. He also becomes the first non-European and African coach to be the manager for Nigeria. Again, a note too, because it is summer here in the United States, but it is winter in Australia and New Zealand. So there's not going to be too many chances of a hydration break. There was a chance there as we get a look at Christine Sinclair's shot that just goes wide. But still, Bev Priestman likes it. and so do the true north back on the other side of the globe. Nigeria against Canada, back under play, back underway. Could say either way. Up the middle, Ordega, turn on the ball, back towards the center back Ohale. Alozie tripped out there, and she lost it. Throwing now for Canada. Haitama with not the best touch on the ball, nonetheless regrouped by Canada. Haitama again, good passing there. Here comes Haitama down the left-hand side. She's got Leona in front of her, or in front of her, I should say. She goes down, and that's going to be a free kick for Canada. Drawing the foul there of Michelle Alozie. It was a rough challenge there. Haitama still on the ground. Lawrence, I think, was trying to argue that Alozie should get a yellow for that. But nonetheless, was a risky challenge. From my angle, it looks a little interesting. Alozia did not get the ball. She did get legs of Haitama, but that was pretty much it. 18th minute, and once again, thanks for tuning in. First Women's World Cup live react / play-by-play of the tournament. Hopefully, we'll be doing one at least every day, or rather every other day. So once again, another free kick for Canada, another set piece to show them what they've got. Leon whips it into the box. Kiyomaka with another punch. It's still there, edge of the box, I should say. Still hurdling, and now Kiyomaka is down on the ground. Or rather, yes, Kiyomaka and Andosia. So I'm right, but I'm not right. Take a look at how it looked. Yeah, it was Andosia with the punch, and it looked like she collided there with Alozie, who was right underneath her at that moment. It's like Andosia is okay. It looks like she has some sort of wrap on her right thigh. That might be a case of injury. She does not have it on her left. Might be more like a knee brace now that I look at it clearer. Waldrum gives some notes to Antoinette Payne playing the left midfielder spot for Nigeria. Speaking of the left side, it goes out towards Plumtre, who gives it right back towards Buchanan of Canada. And this one sent forward by Kaylin Sheridan. Nigeria able to keep it. Now we see another foul, and it's a free kick. This time Uchebe is able to draw the foul for the Super Falcons. Back with Nigeria. Back down the left-hand side. There's Plumtre who's trying to cut inside, and Quinn tracking back, able to recollect for Canada. Still with the ball towards the corner, and she'll just knock it out for Nigeria throw-in. Deep now in Canada territory. So the Super Falcons, Nigeria, with a chance to maybe get on the board here. In front of what is a pretty good crowd at Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. Most of the crowd is sold out. What has been a pleasant Friday afternoon over there, 55 degrees because it is winter down under. 20 minutes through. Once again, another throw in. This one goes out to Payne. And it was a rough touchback, bad pass back by Payne as well. Still in the area, still hurtling around. Nigeria back with it. This one about 30 yards out as this one's cut away by Rose, out for another Nigeria throw-in. Again, if you're missing anything, you haven't missed much. The closest chance that either side had was a Christine Sinclair shot from outside of the box that just went wide. No deflection given at all. Meanwhile, there was a throw in by Nigeria that went out on the end line. Goal kick for Canada. So going into this, in terms of FIFA rankings, Canada should have quite a good advantage at number 7 in the world. Nigeria much lower at 40. Meanwhile, Christine Sinclair able to bring that back, but it's out towards Rose, who lost it there on the end. And this one pipped forward back towards Nigeria. And maybe a chance here. Ifeoma Onumonu. Another chance, and that's blocked away by Buchanan. Rather, it was one of the Nigerians hurtling down the left-hand side. Another chance here. A shot from distance, and that's just poked away there by Kalen Sheridan. First save of the day. And Nigeria with the chance to maybe make it 1-0. Well, there was a good chance right there. Hard to tell who made that shot, but it might have been the Barcelona woman Asistat Oshola. So corner kick now for Nigeria, about halfway through this first half. Still 0-0 between the two sides. Did not see too many goals yesterday. Could see a change today, as this one is taken from the corner. It was Payne to take the corner for Nigeria. And Buchanan now, once again, right-hand side. She's been playing really well as that right center back role for Canada today. She's able to see it out for Nigeria throw-in. Once again, Plumtre take it on the left. A lot of players with a lot of experience on both sides, including Canada. Speaking of which, they've got the ball here. Here's Leon trying to play Rose on the overlap a little too far. Ball goes back towards Enandozie, pardon me. Sinclair to bring it down. Not the best touch towards Leon, as it's clipped away there by Blessing Demehin. Buchanan, not the best touch. There's been sloppy play from both sides today. Have been some moments of brilliance when a lot of the players have been in spaces. Meanwhile, maybe a chance here. Deborah Abiodun, or rather Michelle Alozier, with a chance. Now maybe a chance to go back to Alozier. Not really. A little too much sauce on that one for Francisca Ortega, but you can tell that the momentum slowly but surely is shifting towards Nigeria. 25th minute, still 0-0. Sometimes soccer's like that, folks. You never know. You never know. Gil Grosso. Back towards Gil. Of course, you look at the most recent tune-up for both sides. Nigeria came into this one. In terms of the past 5 games, 3 wins. That is the past 3 games. That is 3 wins. New Zealand, Haiti, and Costa Rica. Before that, they suffered 2 losses to Mexico and Colombia, both by the score of 1-0 in the Revelations Cup. Canada as well had an interesting bag, or rather a mixed bag, in terms of the results they have seen. Drew England's 0-0 in an unofficial friendly that actually happened July 14th on the Sunshine Coast, and then lost 2-1 in France, or rather to France, in France, on April 11th. Before that, they went 1-2 at the She Believes Cup in the United States, lost 3-0 to Japan, 2-0 to the U.S., and that they were able to get a win 2-0 over Brazil. Out towards Lawrence. Quinn, a little too much of a touch there by Leon. It'll be a throw-in for Nigeria. Down on the right-hand side, in a lot of appearances, a lot of people showing up for Canada, a lot of experience overall in this Canadian side. There are so many players in that team with at least 90 appearances. 9 to be exact. Quinn making their 90th appearance today. That makes it up to 9 players. And you do have a lot more on the bench if you can. For Canada, if in the chance we get to see Shelina Zadorsky on the pitch, that would put you at 10. as she would get her 10th, or rather her 90th appearance with the club. A lot of experience overall on this Canadian side, to say the least. Buchanan, not the best touch by Rose, almost trying to flick it on, flicks it out on the end line. So brought down, brought up, a little too far for Plutre to get it, or rather too close. Meanwhile, Canada with a chance here. Rose on the right, and a good crunching tackle by Ortega to get it back towards Nigeria. Now played forward. Could this be trouble for Canada? Hurtling down the left-hand side. A little knock there by Rose, who was tracking back. And Sheridan able to clear it out before it gets to the end line. That will be a throw-in for Nigeria. Hold on, let me check something here. Sorry, my apologies for the stammer. Deanne Rose, by the way, is not out. There might have been a late change here for Canada, and indeed it was. So Deanne Rose, just to clarify, Deanne Rose is going to be playing as your right midfielder, and it's actually Jade Riviere who will be playing right back. And with that, Adriana Leon will be playing as your left midfielder spot. So it was a quick change when I did the lineups beforehand. It was a little bit. Meanwhile, a chance here on the other side, and I think in Canada almost got it. It was Jordan Heitema to just send it wide. Let's see what happened here. My apologies there for not checking. It's Leon on the left. Good ball in, and again, Jordan Heitema using her height, pun intended, just couldn't steer it on frame. Canada with better chances so far as we're here in the 29th minute. That's just headed away, and then Dozier remains unharmed of that shot. Leon, oh, good ball played. Sinclair with some space, a little too far for Heitema. That was another great chance, and Christine Sinclair, known for playing that 9 spot throughout the years, could not find the number 9 today, Jordan Heitema. That's, I think, one thing. I mentioned it earlier, and I'll mention it again, is the fact that Christine Sinclair has played well in the sense that she's had a great career, but at the same time, she's playing in a role that hasn't really suited her to most of her career. Now, she did play in that role in 2019 to some extent, and I think even in 2020, but not that much. A little bit rough there, and it's going to be throwing, I think, for Canada. But Jordan Heitema getting on the ball, getting that height forward to really show what she can do for this Canadian side. In fact, Jordan Heitema, when you look at her stats for Canada, 64 appearances, 16 goals for the OL Reign forward. Out on the right, Rose, and out to Sinclair. Sinclair, crunching tackle there on the end. There's Uchebe this time getting in the ruckus. A lot of changes overall. And again, I don't know how much to credit to myself for that, or rather question what they did. It looks like Ortega's playing up there. Abiodun is essentially playing the holding midfielder. So there's a change where Ortega's basically playing holding mid, and Abiodun is playing as a holding mid. Rather, Ortega's playing right mid. Abiodun's playing holding mid. That's what I meant to say. First live react, we'll get some of the rust off. Here's Quinn. Some space in the middle. She'll play it off to Grosso. Grosso tried ripping it from distance. It was deflected and eventually cleared away. Still in the area. Still nervy moments for Nigeria. And Ohale just has to send it forward. And again, sent back by Giel. Played out and maybe a chance here. Plumtre on the left. Here's Payne. Payne now getting towards the edge of the box. Still at the edge of the box. And that cross was deflected away. And another deflection away by Riviere. Corner kick for Nigeria. And again, it just seems like it's not 50-50. But at the same time, Nigeria's found ways to almost thwart Canada's momentum, get some shots of their own. I mean, they had the only shot on target in this match. At the same time, they've been at the same spot, or rather at the right spot at the right time. Only one shot, and that one was the only one on target for Nigeria. 4 shots on the other side for Canada, none on target. This one now whipped into the box, and it just has to be clawed away there by Sheridan. On the back post now, Ortega, what can she do? Nifty cut back as it's sent into the box. A header, and it will just skip wide. Nothing unarmed for Sheridan, but a good chance there. I think it might have been Oshoala. And Ortega again. Let's take a look at that. Ooh, good tecker. Good tecker on the ball. But a little too far. And actually, now that I look at it about it, might have been Quinn that got the last touch, and indeed it was. My apologies there. Let's see about this one. You've got Payne, you got Uchebe. On the side, 33rd minute. Nigeria threatening with the corner kick. This one played short. Uchebe into the box, just punched away by Sheridan again. Unable to get that punched away. Meanwhile, a shot back into the box just goes over the bar. That one, again, trying to hurdle forward, and you can put it on Deborah Abiodun with a shot. Again, it was about 30 yards out, and there were so many bodies there. She could have had maybe a chance to get something there. You maybe get a lucky deflection. She decides to play over, maybe trying to get it a little more lasered next time to try to get a shot on target at the very least. But still, the Super Falcons are starting to get their wings. They're starting to fly here against the Maple Leafs. What can they do now? This one, once again, clipped in, back post. Little too far. Oshola will settle on the back post. This one, once again, not the best ball played as Leon is able to collect. Out to Lawrence. She'll have some space on the left, but this is still on Canada's side of the pitch. So she won't hurdle forward that much as it goes back towards Giel. 35th minute. No score between the two sides. Once again, a lot of shots from either side, but none that really show what they can do. Once again, we thank you for tuning in on this Thursday night, a hot one here in Phoenix, as it's been the past 2 weeks, honestly. I just moved here last week. But I have been here before, as I'm a student at ASU, starting off my sophomore year in August. That being said, it is still hot. It's 110 degrees. AC is not running that much in my room, and I've turned the fan off because if the fan were on, then these papers, as you see right here, would not be on. Meanwhile, a chance, and Sheridan, she misses at the ball. The goal is open, knocked away there by Giel. There's still a chance, a collision in the middle, and now play will be stopped as Canada avoids an absolute dangerous chance. And I think Asisat Oshola knows it. And I mean, there's so many chances to look at. Let's take a look at this. One, Asisat Oshola. It looked like she might have been offside, but from that angle that is shown on Telemundo, it wasn't. And then that's one thing. And then Kaylin Sheridan to miss the ball. Ashley Lawrence just to get a piece of it to clear it away. So many moving parts, as I mentioned, to move it away, and a collision there between her and Ortega. To be honest with you, I think if Lawrence doesn't do that, Ortega goes down, and that might be a penalty. Crazy moments so far, folks. Crazy moments. And I think after what we saw yesterday with New Zealand and Norway, I think anything can go. Anything can go in this World Cup. You could see Nigeria win. We could see Canada win. We could see a mixture of the two, for all you know. Nonetheless, we're glad that you're here for the ride. Once again, out on the right, Alozier going up against Grosso. Alozier again losing it. Chance here for Abiodun. She'll play it back towards the center backs. First Ohale. Ohale out to Demehin. Too long of a ball. Goes back towards Sheridan. Nonetheless, some exciting action so far when it's happened at the right moments. Not too end to end, but still a good chance. It's also, I should say this, and I should have said this towards the top, is that the fact that Nigeria's numbers are really hard to see. I mean, they've got the Kelly green, probably more like a light green jersey, or rather, that whole kit in general is light green. And even though they have black numbers, it's really hard to see. Canada on the other side, pretty good. I guess dark on white works better than light on dark. Gil, too much of a touch by Leon as it's given right back. Deflected off of Leon. It's now in Nigeria's box. Pressure from Leon, and did she get a corner out of it? No. Goal kick. Nonetheless, Adriana Leon, ever since showing up on the big stage, she's been showing up overall during her time with Canada, of course, playing over with Manchester United's women's side. 96 appearances, 28 goals in her time there. Made her big league debut, if you will. That is the national debut back in 2012. Did she play at the 2015 World Cup? Yes, she did. And that was when she really showed her speed, showed her power and glamour all at once. Maybe another chance here for Nigeria. This one cut off. Nonetheless, we continue, and now the referee will blow in favor of Canada as it was Riviere to go down. As I mentioned before, Jade Riviere listed as the left midfielder, then now playing right midfielder. And Deanne Rose, who was listed as the right back, now playing right midfielder. Adriana Leon, who was listed as the right midfielder, is now playing left midfielder. So, three-way transaction, if you will, for the Canadian players. They found a way to get some pressure. Here's Christine Sinclair down the right-hand side, trying to lay it off towards Rose. Being bullied in the corner there by Plumtre. Now you're also seeing this out by Uchebe, and Uchebe is the one to see it out for a goal kick. 40th minute of play, and not much so far. No goals from either side. And these are two teams that have always shown their caliber this level, especially recently. Nigeria went to the round of 16 in 2019. So did Canada as well. Chance here maybe for the Super Falcons. Out on the left, here's Payne. Out on the wing once again for Payne. Going up against Riviere. Payne, edge of the box, ships it back post. Nobody there as Sheridan sees it out. Was there a deflection? It seems like it was. Let's take a look at this. And yes, I think it was Riviere just getting her leg out to just deflect it away. It caused the ball to have more of a upward shot rather than a linear one. Corner kick, and once again, we'll see another Uchebe and Payne pairing. This one, I should mention, is on the near side of the pitch, so the right wing for Nigeria. 40 minutes through in the first half, 5 minutes plus stoppage time before the whistle. This one sent into the box, a big one there, still a chance, and again, Onumonu could not get a peg on it, goes out for a goal kick. But again, Asisat Oshola also playing as a number 10-like role today, similar to Christine Sinclair of Canada, unable to get a real head to it. Oshola, as I've not mentioned it before, but you do have a lot of key players. Asisat Oshola being one of them. She has put up 29 goals in her career for Nigeria, dating back in the past 10 years. And for most recent stint has been with FC Barcelona, who is arguably the best women's team in the game right now. 89 appearances, 83 goals for them, which is really good. This one clipped in and it's just cut away. Canada, by the way, was on the attack during that time. Maybe another chance for Nigeria. Nope, cut away there by Riviere. Back and forth we go. Round and round the ball goes. Grosso lifted out a little too high for Leon. Was trying to chest that one up. I'd love to see that matchup though between Adriana Leon and Michelle Alozier. Really nice from what we've been seeing. We could have seen those two face off in MLS, or not MLS, sorry, NWSL. Alozier playing with Houston Dash and Leon playing with OL Reign. Correct? I think she's been playing with OL Reign. Pardon me, with Manchester United. So forget what I said. Throw-in. So Lawrence took it. Out for another throw-in for Canada. Again, this is part of a triple header today. Got quite a few games. Again, if you're on the West Coast like me, kind of lucky in that regards. Lawrence was a little too, or no, pardon me, Leon with a chance, and again, smothered right there in the middle by Chiamaka and Andozier. Haitama was hurtling in the middle. Could have easily gotten a tap in if she got her peg to it. Let's take a look at this. Again, I thought Leon might have seen it out. Haitama was rushing in, and so did Rose, I think. Deanna Rose with quite an impressive first half. Again, the chances keep on coming. The question is if and or when do we see that first goal? Maybe we'll see it before the first half ends. We haven't seen too many goals before the end of the first half, both in soccer and at least the soccer matches I've watched. 44th minute, maybe a chance to change that as Buchanan plays it over towards Giel. Giel playing it forward. Sinclair going down, and she'll draw a free kick there. Again, Christine Sinclair playing in the attacking midfielder, and again, she's understood the space both on the pitch. And not the best challenge there by Abiodun. Won't be booked, but again, she will get a warning from the ref. But again, Christine Sinclair, one of the greatest women's soccer players in the history of the game. She'll walk up forward. Maybe a chance here. Again, both sides played well, and Canada had some good chances just earlier on. And then Dozier made some interesting saves. She's been at the right place at the right time. This one sent in by Leon into the box, headed away there. I believe getting the touch was indeed Ohale. 7, 58, 59, and we are 45 minutes through the first half. Time for stoppage time in Melbourne. We'll get 2 of those before both teams head back to the dressing rooms. Leon once again to take it this time from the far side of the pitch for Canada. That is the right side. Leon runs up again, another in-swinger into the box, and Andozier got a punch to it. She's trying to argue that there was a back in. Couldn't tell by who, but nonetheless, we do have take 2 for the Canadians. Leon, once again, who has been in that area for a while, or rather has been taking the set pieces for a while today. About a minute through again. We'd probably get more like a minute and a half because of the stoppages. Nonetheless, it's Leon again. Winds up, sends it into the box, headed up, now towards the other side. Haitama will track it down at the edge of the box. And she'll cycle back out onto the left flank. In some trouble here. Double teamed and loses the ball. Cleared out and cleared away. Thrown once again for Canada in the attacking third. As Randy Waldrum tells his players to remain calm and remain smart on the defensive side. Gill, Buchanan, Quinn, back towards Quinn. So we're approaching 2 minutes of the stoppage time. Long ball sent to the box. Buchanan tried, or rather, Rose tried getting a pike to it a little too far, as out towards a goal kick. And with that, we have come to the halftime whistle. 0-0 between Nigeria and Canada. A lot of chances, including for Christine Sinclair to maybe get her 191st goal overall and her 11th goal in Women's World Cup play. Nonetheless, 0-0 at half, and I'll take a quick break. Stay tuned. In a while, we'll get the second half going right here on both YouTube and Instagram. Once again, thanks for tuning in to the live reacts. I'll be doing quite a few of these. Tomorrow, I'll be up for United States versus Vietnam. So if you can, tune in for that. For now, quick break, and I will see you in a few minutes. One half down, one half to go from Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. It is 0-0 between Nigeria and Canada in their first matchup in Group B. I'm Mahir Hassan. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are Thursday night. If you are in the United States, soon to be early Friday morning if you're on the East Coast. And if you're on the West Coast, we will stay on Thursday night. Quite an interesting day overall in terms of the soccer. Of course, it started off yesterday with quite an interesting establishment. New Zealand beating Norway, and then it was Australia to beat Ireland. So far, no goals in this matchup today. Nonetheless, a lot of chances here. To my knowledge, no changes at the half for either side. So we continue as it is. We'll put the Instagram live up as we're doing this. But again, a lot of chances in both the first half in its entirety. Christine Sinclair with probably the best chance for Canada with a shot that went wide. Not too many for the Canadians overall. They actually had 5 shots. Nigeria with the majority of them with 7 and 1 on target. That was from distance, able to easily be collected there by Kaylin Sheridan. Let me get the game back on. So yes, to my knowledge, there were no changes made at half. I could be wrong. Sorry, there was one change for Canada. Deanna Rose is off, and Chloe Lacasse is on. See what that brings. Chloe Lacasse used to play forward. Again, one of the newer players in the Canadian roster overall, only making her 20th appearance. The Arsenal lady has scored 1 goal for her country. Chance on the other side for Canada. Chance for Sinclair, who's in the box. She goes down. Ref says, get up. She is yelling like crazy, but she's not going to get her plea. Nonetheless, one back by Julia Grasso. This one clipped forward, and Haitama cannot get the best vision over there. So it goes out. But now it looks like the ref might be given a penalty. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Looks like she might have gotten contact. So now the question is, do they check a penalty here? If you're just tuning in, the second half has just started. It is 0-0 between Nigeria and Canada. And the referee's going to go to the monitor here to check for a possible penalty kick. 48th minute of play, I should say. And maybe a chance if you are Canada. Now, Christine Sinclair has gone down. Hold on. I might have complicated myself. My apologies. All right. Well, for those watching on YouTube, I'm trying to get the Instagram feed up here, but there is a possibility of a penalty for Canada. The question is, did Christine Sinclair go down? Well, wow. And it's a penalty kick for Canada. Francisca Ortega called for the foul, and she cannot believe it. Even I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out what happened because from my angle, it looked like it was very carefree, if you will, in terms of Sinclair going down. But she does get the attention. She does get the action that she deserves. It is a penalty for Canada here in the 49th minute. Again, Randy Waldrum cannot believe it. My apologies for those on Instagram. Trying to get it up and out, trying to get something going. I'm usually not used to doing Instagram lives during the live react. It's usually just on YouTube. Nonetheless, Christine Sinclair at the spot. Again, we talked about her before. 323 appearances, 190 goals, 50th minute, and a chance for Canada to take the lead. Now, the question is the referee's got to settle where the line's being drawn, make sure everybody is behind the box for this penalty kick. Christine Sinclair, 12 yards away from goal, going up against Chiamaka and Andozier. Whistle blows. Sinclair stares at the ball, steps up, saved there. Rebound is once again punched away, and Nigeria keeps it a scoreless game. How about that? Not one, but two chances for Canada to take the lead, and Chiamaka and Adozie keeps it scoreless. How about that? On the biggest stage of women's football. Sinclair went low to Ndozie's left and was able to pick it out. How about that? More importantly, able to pick it away. Right before Sinclair would have probably gotten an easy tap in to make it 1-0. I said this before, folks, and I'll say it again. It's just you never know what you're going to expect from these types of games. In the sense of when I mean that, when I say that, I mean you could have teams that really show up, right? Nigeria was like that. I mean, even from a betting perspective, yesterday it was Norway who had a negative 370, which was really good for betting. They ended up losing that game to New Zealand. Nigeria was pretty low. And in the 50th minute, you can thank Dozier for keeping this scoreless. Otherwise, Christine Sinclair makes it 1-0 and also becomes the first ever person to score in 6 Women's World Cups. Could still happen in today's game, but a golden opportunity was denied there for the Canadian and the current Portland Thorns player. Chance here for Quinn. They'll play it out to the right. Maybe a chance again. I don't know what it is. Telemundo has rough. And plus, it's some of the stadium is in the shade right now, which makes it really tough. Nonetheless, Buchanan, the Grosso de Leon, 25 yards out. Able to lose it there. And once again, here comes Nigeria. That one cut away. You think about it. Nigeria plays Australia, and then they play Ireland after that. This one played for Haitama, out towards Sinclair. She'll have to run towards the touchline to get it. Swings it in with her left foot, headed away there by Ohale. Goes out, and we'll have take 2 for Canada on the left-hand side. Riviere lost the ball there, and maybe a chance here for Oshola to get something forward. Knocked out by Jade Riviere. Throw in for Nigeria. Back out, and it's actually Ordega on the left-hand side. She crosses that one in, and now picked up by Canada. Down the right-hand side for Haitama. In attacking territory, she goes down. Ball skips forward, and now the referee will issue a free kick. This one seems a little bit more fair compared to the Sinclair penalty call. The Maheen call for the foul there for Nigeria. And with that, she's also going to get a yellow card. So Blessing Demaheen getting the first yellow card of the game today. A relatively clean game otherwise. It seemed like Haitama was off to the races, too. The type of speed she's been using as a number 9 to try to play with her, with Rose for a time when Rose was playing. Now it's going to be Lacasse on that right-hand side, potentially. It's Koe Lacasse who came in. That to Lacasse being number 20 tonight. Free kick now for Canada. Leon into the box, back post, picked off and away. And this one will be seen out. Looks like Nigeria might have made a change as well. It's hard to tell. I don't think they did. So once again, another throw-in for Canada. This one deep in the attacking third. Still maintaining a lot of the momentum. So picked off, cleared forward by the Super Falcons. Oshuala. Locked off, throw-in. If Nigeria can get a goal here, it changes the whole trajectory of what this region is. And I say that for one reason is the way this World Cup, or rather Women's World Cup, is shaping out to be. This edition is the first time the Women's World Cup will have 32 teams instead of the 24 that we saw in 2015 and 2019. Furthermore, teams like Nigeria cannot get in as a third seed. Before it was the case that if you were third in a certain group, then the top four teams that were the top four third seeds, if you will, got to the knockouts. That is not happening this year. You have to be in the top two to advance to the knockouts. So for Nigeria, especially knowing that you have Canada, who's number 7, and Australia, another single digit team, you can take a point off Canada. You've got an interesting match against Australia coming up in match day 2, and that too, an Australia that won only 1-0 against David Chant's Ireland, and more importantly, a team without Sam Kerr. That sets up an interesting predicament for the Super Falcons on what they could do. Meanwhile, foul for Canada, and Nigeria and Michelle Alozie is kind of flabbergasted of the call, and another dangerous free kick for the Canadians. This time it was Adriana Leon who went to ground. Once again, the line for Nigeria remains at around the box, and once again, Leon standing over the ball, trying to take it with her right foot if the whistle blows. On the other side, it does seem like there maybe is a left-footed taker. There could be one. Let's see what happens. Free kick, nonetheless. You have Leon on one side, and I believe it might be Grosso. It'll be Leon to take this in-swinger into the box, goes near post, might have been going direct there, and will be seen out by Enadozie for a goal kick. Good chances throughout, though. Very good chances throughout for both sides. Just unable to really center it where it matters there. And yes, Enadozie just evaded a touch. 58th minute of play, by the way. So we've seen quite a lot of action from halftime. 50th minute, Christine Sinclair stepped up to take a penalty kick. It was saved by Chiamaka Enadozie, Nigeria's goalkeeper. By the way, this is a Nigeria team that beat New Zealand 3-0 in a friendly. A lot of chances so far. And that, too, I should mention, a New Zealand team that beat Norway to start off the 2023 Women's World Cup yesterday. If you're from Australia, that was on Thursday night. It was Thursday night. If you're in the U.S., it was Thursday morning. In other words, earlier today. That's the one thing I'm going to have to get used to is, like, does it happen Thursday? Does it happen Friday? Because you think about it. Like, in terms of the West Coast timing, there were 4 games today. It was New Zealand against Norway, which happened at midnight. You had Australia, Ireland, which happened at 3 a.m. By the way, this one goes to Enadozie. She's able to boot this towards midfield. And then in the evening slot, you've got this game, Nigeria, Canada at 7:30. And afterwards, you'll have Philippines against Switzerland, which will be at 10 o'clock. That one I did not do a live react for. This will be the only live react game for today. Tomorrow, we'll have United States versus Vietnam. That will be at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So here comes Nigeria the other way, out to Ortega on the left. She's been hurdling a lot, and this one's knocked out, I believe, by Buchanan. Yes, indeed. And that's a throw-in. So throw-in now for Nigeria. So once again, Ashley Puntre. Both of the left backs are named Ashley, but different spellings of it. Chance here for Nigeria. Looks like we might have seen a push from the back. No foul called. It was Onumonu, I think. As here comes Lawrence the other way. Lawrence is cut out from behind, or rather just in place, and it was actually Onumonu tracking back to make sure it was the spot. Crazy sequence, though. I mean, that could have easily been a free kick. It would have been 20 yards out for Nigeria. Now looks like the ref will check in on the injured player. Let's take a look at this. It's like Onomonu had a chance, and she is grabbing her head, I believe. Again, this was outside the box. I think it might have just been an injury. I don't think Ashley Lawrence, who was going at her, really dragged her to the ground. But nonetheless, Onomonu looks like she is okay. How about this, too? Again, a replay on Telemundo of the penalty kick. Sinclair. There was no rebound, so that was my apologies. There was no rebound. It was basically Anandozier just getting it out of the area. Anandozier. I've called her name a lot today. Chiamaka Anandozier. Made some appearances. She's telling her defense to get back, and especially knowing, as I mentioned earlier, the chance to get a point, a result, whatever, what have you. Anandozier, a pretty young goalkeeper, only 22 overall, playing with Paris FC in France. This being her 20th appearance for her country. Again, like Nigeria's had some interesting players playing today. When I mean that, I mean there's some players who have been playing for a while with this team. There's like Oshola, who's been making appearances since 2013. Then there are other chances where it could be different. Here's Gil trying to split pass out to Leon. Back towards Gil. Buchanan. Out on the right wing, a little too far there. She was looking towards Riviere. I think it suits people, or it suits the teams, in the sense that the team that I think gets more comfortable if this ends out in a draw. I think you have to credit Nigeria. Nigeria, in a sense, won this match. If they end up getting at least a point, maybe all three, in that case, they've definitely won the match. But if it's one, then it seems interesting. You know, they're in the clear, but they're not that in the clear. They want to go forward, but they're not that forward. Meanwhile, speaking of forward, this one was played through towards Adriana Leon. It was cleared out there by Alozier, went off of Leon. Okay. 63rd minute, 0-0. And again, it's been an interesting game for Bev, Priestman, and crew for how they've decided to play this match. Having the chances overall now, granted, Nigeria, at least at halftime, held more shots, and they also had the sole shot on target. That has changed periodically from time to time. Throwing now for Nigeria. This will be in the defensive third for them. It looks like Canada will be making another change. Again, they've brought on some players, including Chloe Lacoste, who got a good chance to maybe go forward, and this is definitely a good opportunity for her. 20th appearance for the club there. We have seen some chances of Evelyn Viens getting a chance, 19th appearance for her if she ends up showing. Meanwhile, Canada with a chance here. Lacoste, edge of the box, out to Quinn. Tough touch there by Grosso. It's just bullied off the ball there. Looks like it will be a foul one, or at the very least, a throw-in one. Again, it looks like Deborah Abiodun to do the damage. So yes, we will see the change now, and it will be Adriana Leon coming off, and it will be the sole Canadian player that plays in Sweden, Kristianstad's DFF, to be specific. Evelyn Viens, 26-year-old, making her first, or rather, not her first, way more than her first, 19th appearance, first appearance with the Women's World Cup, I should say. Shaking off the cobwebs. That's what it is. Just shaking off the cobwebs here. This is the first live react. Meanwhile, chance here. It's back and forth action. I gotta keep it on Peacock for a while. I'm back. Quinn just decides to boot it forward. That was the only touch she could really get. It might actually end up helping Canada as Haitama hurdles down the end line. Did she get the last touch? Yes, it looks like it. Olahe, or rather, Ohale. I'm saying it all wrong. Sorry. Ohale sees it out. Goal kick. 65th minute of play. 25 minutes plus stoppage time left. 0-0 between Nigeria and Canada. Canada's gotten probably the more potent of chances. Christine Sinclair with a couple of chances, first in about the 23rd minute, and then on a penalty kick in the 50th that was awarded off VAR. Nonetheless, Lacoste and the Canadians keep on coming. She's going to cut inside. Lacoste, shot from distance, is blocked away. Quinn plays it out back towards Haitama, plays it into the middle. It's Sinclair with this chance, and it goes right into the hands of Anna Dozier. Or pardon me, that was not Sinclair. I should mention that was actually Viens who just came on. Sinclair once again playing back. Viens has now basically taken that striker role, at least from the run we just saw there. So Nigeria once again with a chance to breathe. Let's put it that way, a chance to breathe, because Canada's definitely held more of the command despite Nigeria having more of the shots. You even think about it from the terms of possession too. At halftime, Canada had 68% of it. They've had about 70% so far today. Entering towards the bottom of this match, only 90 minutes. No added time, or well, we will have added time in stoppage. That is stoppage time, but no extra time. So we flip forward, and again, Viens fell down there. This one clipped out, headed down. Maybe a chance here. A long shot, and that one's going to go almost into the stands there. Not the wisest decision there by Uchebe. So far, we've seen Chloe Lacoste come on for Canada, along with Evelyn Beans. For Nigeria, pardon me for the paper if you're watching on Instagram. Nigeria, we have not seen too many changes yet, and maybe a chance for Randy Waldrum to go to his bench. Again, it seems like, I don't know the exact rules for subs, but it seems like it might be the same. Before it used to be, I know, like in MLS this year, and I think it's been the case at the Men's World Cup, you get 5 changes possible, 5 possible changes, but it must be done in 3 windows. I don't know if the women's game is like that, if it's changed a little bit, but I think it must be the same. Looks like we'll see another change coming for Canada. It's going to be number 2, Alyssa Chapman. Once again, attacking third for the Canadians. Lawrence trying to get the ball back, and again, just a good shield there. Hurtling down left-hand side. Haitama, I think, tried to square it to the middle and ended up going out on the end line for a goal kick. And again, give credit to Nigeria's left-hand side, and especially Michelle Alozie, showing up with Uchebe and Ordega, although Ordega's been playing more of a left-hand midfield roles. On the other side, Payne's been playing back. Looks like Alozie is trying to get something figured out. In the first half, to my knowledge and from my view, she only had a brace on that right knee. Now it looks like she's gotten some extra treatment on her left. Nothing so far, and Randy Waldrom's telling his players to calm down, remain tranquil right now, as we'll see Dozier get the treatment. Again, you look at the makeup of these 2 countries. You got Nigeria with 3 goalkeepers, 7 defenders, 6 midfielders, and 7 forwards. First 2 remain the same for Canada. That is 3 goalkeepers and 7 defenders. However, they have 5 midfielders and 8 forwards. Speaking of Canada, they've had another player warming up and another veteran to the squad as well in number 13, Sophie Schmidt. Again, we talked about Sinclair and the work she's put in with 323 appearances. Sophie Schmidt with 221, age 35 years old. She's also the second oldest player on this Canadian squad. So again, bringing in some depth, bringing in some experience as well off the bench. And here she is coming in for Jade Riviere. That will be the third change of the match for Canada. So Sophie Schmidt providing some assistance in the midfield. So we'll see that. We'll see Riviere come off. And we're also going to see number 13 head on. Christine Sinclair, by the way, has been taken off along with Riviere. And coming in the match as well will be Sophie Schmidt and Alyssa Chapman. Alyssa Chapman for her. So it looks like Schmidt will probably go towards up the pitch, and Chapman will stay back towards the defensive side. But it is interesting to note that Sinclair started out as a 10. She's played 9 before in her career. And Haitama as well, where she started out as a 9 and she started playing as a 9, at least in terms of her capabilities. Maybe she decides to get more freedom here and get some better chances. That could be a thing too. And I think the other question is, or rather the other thing I've noticed, is the fact that Sinclair's played so back at times, where she's playing almost like an attacking midfielder, but it almost feels like a forward is playing the role of an attacking midfielder. Nonetheless, out on the wing, crossed into the middle. Haitama with a shot. Once again, they're calling for a penalty, Canada. Grasso, inside the box, decides to pip it out towards Schmidt, who makes her first touch of the match. Buchanan, Quinn, Schmidt, back out towards Grasso. She's played a higher role ever since Schmidt has come into the match. This one knocked out by the Super Falcons. Let's take a look at this. Haitama was calling for a penalty, or at the very least a handball, on Nigeria. Hard to tell who got a touch to it. Can't tell. That's been the one bone to pick I've had with Nigeria's jerseys today. Light green, but black and not too bold. But we will see another change here. Ortega, who has been all over the pitch, it seems like today, will be out. And we'll see number 12 for Nigeria pop in. And you want depth to show out in these big moments. And for Nigeria, number 12 happens to be Uchenna Kanu. So Kanu will take that role. Will probably be playing higher up the pitch as Ortega did. A little mishap by ESPN. They were calling Ortega to be a holding midfielder role. Again, ESPN's not the best to trust. Nonetheless, Lawrence now trying to pip it, trying to find Haitama, I guess. And Lacoste on the right is one knocked out here. And again, Chebe playing back. It almost feels like Nigeria's starting to defend for their lives here in what has been a nervy defensive battle. 0-0 here at Melbourne Rectangular Stadium as Quinn's cross will hit right towards Enadozie. And Dozier plays it back up top. Maybe a chance for Nigeria here. Played out. Little tussle, and Kanu able to get past Lawrence. She goes down, and that's a free kick for Nigeria. Lawrence is trying to argue that she didn't get much of a tangle, and instead she's going to get the opposite. First yellow card of the day for Canada. Ashley Lawrence, again, played left back to start off the match, now playing on the right-hand side. And Kanu just fresh off checking in, almost like a minute or two as we approach the 75th minute of play. About 15, 16 minutes or so plus stoppage time left in this one. Still 0-0 between Nigeria and Canada. And Nigeria's had majority of the chances in terms of shots, but Canada, I think, has been more potent on their attack, including a penalty in the 50th minute that was saved by Chiamaka Enadozie, Nigeria's goalkeeper. Chance here for the Nigerians to maybe get a 1-0 effort Here in the 75th minute. 25 yards out, the ball sits. This one clipped in. It's a good ball in. Headed down. Still there. Shot. Deflected. Rebound. It's once again blocked. And it's a little bit of a tussle there from all of the people who may have gotten a touch to it. Christy Ochebe could have gotten it. Michelle Alozier could have gotten it. So many chances. And it just goes to waste. There was someone on the ground, too. It might have been Onumonu. And it was. Nonetheless, it was deflected out. It's a corner kick as Payne, who took the set piece, will take the corner here. Payne whips it in close to near post, punched up there by Sheridan. Still in the area, still a chance, flicked back there, still up in the area, and now it is cleared up by Schmidt. Maybe a chance here for Canada to counterattack, and Lacoste could not track it. More importantly, the ball could not track her. All right, so 15 minutes plus stoppage time. Interesting game. Interesting game so far. A lot of things to note from time to time. And again, thanks for tuning in, whether you're doing it on YouTube or on Instagram. We appreciate your help. We've got a live react tomorrow. That will be U.S. versus Vietnam, 9 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, 6 p.m. where I am here in Phoenix. And then we've got an early morning one on Saturday, 5 a.m. Phoenix time, Denmark versus China. Again, two teams, Denmark on the rise. We're runner-ups in the 2017 Women's Euro. And then on the other side, you have China, who's been a perennial powerhouse, went to the Women's World Cup final in 1999. Ever since then, though, hasn't brought the same firepower to the tournament. That will be an interesting game. That will be Saturday morning, as I mentioned, 5 a.m. Phoenix time. So that will be 8 a.m. on the East Coast. Here's a chance here for Lacoste. Out wide. Here's Grosso. Grosso's shot goes wide right. And once again, it looks like it was deflected on the way out. 78th minute of play. Once again, Nigeria back defending, back on the set piece, and got a lot of these nervy moments for the Super Falcons today. This one clipped in and headed out on the back post area. Chapman sends it out towards Haitama. Haitama tracks it down on the end line. Decides to stay with it and it's back out towards Chapman as they look to recycle. Look at the pitch out to Lawrence. And too much of a ball out to Schmidt, who was on the right. So we get some late drama here from Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. In a stadium that has hosted a lot, as I mentioned. They host the NRL team in Melbourne. They host 3 of the A-League teams. That is the A-League men's and women's team. Nonetheless, this one's played over the top, a little too far for running Oshola. Back and forth action we go. Buckle up, folks. This one play through. It's a good ball, a little too far for Schmidt, who was making the overlapping run. Now another chance. Maybe out on the left, and indeed it will be. Plumtre. Kanu. And this one just pipped forward. Not the smartest decision there. It was Ochebe. Away we go. This one's pipped out by Schmidt. Lacoste able to collect it on the right. Quinn. Schmidt. Out to Chapman. Some space on the left-hand side. Flips it in. A little too far. Nonetheless, was headed away there. It was actually Abiodun Oshola, able to track, able to dance around. She'll pip it forward. Played a little too forward. Maybe a chance here for Nigeria. Runners into the box. Kano is wide open. She gets a chance. The shot, and it's deflected and saved away. What a chance. What a chance for Nigeria. Either way, the offside flag had gone up. But Nigeria with a true counter-attacking chance to make it 1-0. Uchenna Kanu. It's like they're going to call offside on the woman making the run, Ifeoma Onumonu. Nonetheless, Canada on the other side. Not the best ball. Nonetheless, it's out towards Lawrence, who cuts inside. Shoved off. Abiodun. Payne. Now out on the right. We collected less than 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go. First game of Women's World Cup action today. That is the day in Australia and New Zealand, which it is Friday over there for them, despite it being Thursday night here in the United States. Well, if you're on the East Coast, it is Friday, but here on the West Coast, it's still Thursday. Either way, right after this, you've got Philippines and Switzerland, and then you wrap up at 12:30 a.m. Phoenix time with Spain and Costa Rica. Spain, by the way, one of the favorites to win the Women's World Cup this year, ended up losing to the United States in the round of 16. But since then, they have added a lot of firepower to their bids. Had a good showing in the Women's Euro last year, although they ended up losing to England, the hosts and eventual winners. This one cleared out by Giel, and it's going to be a throw-in for Nigeria deep in the attacking third. And we'll see another change for Canada. I believe this might be their fourth of the day. Might be their fourth, maybe their fifth. But it looks like Nichelle Prince is ready to come in for Julia Grasso, and here she comes in. Again, Grasso with the good work today, being the center midfielder role in her 51st appearance. Nichelle Prince on the other side. One of the players in the 90 appearance club, as I mentioned earlier, making her 91st today. Another, looks like, is it going to be a corner? Yes, it's a corner for Nigeria. 83rd minute of play once again. Payne to do the honors from the far side of the pitch. There we go. This one sent high into the box. Sheridan unable to punch it. Still in the area. Does it go in? No. In fact, there's a foul called there. Sheridan was absolutely ambushed in that area. Not necessarily from an attack, just the amount of light green bodies that were there caused her to go down, and essentially her field players had to defend the goal. Meanwhile, maybe a chance for Canada. Back and forth. As I mentioned before, 3 points for either side would be crucial in a group that includes Australia, one of the co-hosts, and potential favorites to win. Of course, the United States comes into this tournament #1 in the world, but there's still a lot of contenders. Meanwhile, this one's cleared away by Ohale. Back out on the right. A little pressure, and Prince, who just came in, is just going to take the ball back. Sent back. Good chance here. A shot blocked away, and Veens with a good chance. It's been a while since we've called her name. The clip, and it's going to go in favor of Nigeria. 85th minute. I don't know. I'll be honest with you, just from a fan's perspective, first live react of this World Cup, it'd be interesting if it ends out 0-0. Looks like Nigeria is ready to make a change. I believe they're only their second. Not too many changes today for Nigeria. And coming off will be Onumonu. And coming on will be another striker, and someone who's gotten a lot of experience, Esther Okoronkwo. So Onumonu off, Okoronkwo on. Chance for Nigeria now, and that's cleared away before Oshola could do anything. Okoronkwo actually scored one of the goals in Nigeria's win over New Zealand. That was a 3-0 victory, as I mentioned. Pretty big. I mean, after we saw New Zealand beat Norway yesterday 1-0 in Eden Park. Here's Lawrence. On the right-hand side, flipped in a little too far for Veen. That's still in the area, and that's just a touchback by Lozier towards her goalkeeper. Very close for that to be some dangerous moments for Nigeria. Less than 5 minutes post stoppage time to go. Time is ticking. The goals, though, have not been coming in. It is still deadlocked here in the 86th minute. Haitema down on the right. Chance to play in towards Veens. It's cleared away there by Demehin. Corner kick for the Canadians. Corner kick now. Schmidt to take it. Schmidt into the box, back post, headed down, and Dozier is able to collect. Looks like my stream stopped. I'm going to try to get it back on. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Come on. Come on. Uh, 14 seconds. And that, folks, is how people make money. All right, 87th minute of play. My stream's back. Looks like from here on out, we will be running with the live stream. Good chance here. And that one's cleared away. Only as far as Lawrence. Lawrence now. Little collision there with Abiodun. Or rather, I should say, it was Lacoste, now not Lawrence. A little bit different. Lawrence is wearing number 10. Lacoste wearing number 20. Both of them have a 0. Buchanan. Giel. Picked off again. In that kind of day so far from an offensive standpoint, just when you think there's a chance, maybe a breakthrough that makes it absolutely in the net, ends up being just a spare chance. This one's given right back to Kenda. Could have changed here. Lacoste now, edge of the box, trying to play it forward towards Veens. Can she keep it in play? No. Out on the end line, goal kick. But again, Chloe Lacoste came in making her 20th. The Arsenal woman doing a very good job so far. A little slip there by Veens. Was out there in the end line. Trying to keep that in. Again, as I mentioned, we've got another live react tomorrow. United States trying to pull the three-peat. Their first match of the 2023 campaign will be against Vietnam tomorrow. Meanwhile, Haitema down the right-hand side. That's picked off. This one clipped in by Quinn. Back post, headed down by Prince. It's going to be headed out by Lozier. Corner kick for Canada. And again, to mention, too, you got Nigeria with a bunch of players. Of course, Oshola playing with Barcelona. Their captain, I should mention this, too, because, I mean, we give so much credit to Sinclair. The fact that she's playing her 6th Women's World Cup joins a very elite category. Onome Abi. Onome Abi, the captain for Nigeria. She's put up 103 appearances since 2003. Actually scored in the match against New Zealand. Was one of her 3 goals overall. She is on the bench. She has not been playing today. She's historically been playing center back or defender. Nonetheless, Prince out on the right. Schmidt, or rather Quinn, dancing on the ball. Quinn lifts it into the box. Haitama can't get the header on target. 90th minute of play. We have about 20 seconds of regulation, and then it's on to added time. And you can tell from how the Canadian players are looking that if they can't pull off a victory here, it's going to feel like a disappointment. Meanwhile, Nigeria with the change coming off will be Oshola, I should say. And we're actually going to get some college talent into the middle with Onyi Echegini coming in. Echegini will be wearing number 19. As I mentioned, though, Echegini, one of the college soccer players, plays at Florida State University, 22 years old, so in the back half of her college career, presumably. It's been quite an interesting trend, actually, that we've seen over the years, actually. You got a lot of players here and there. And then even for Canada, too, you got Awujo and Smith. Awujo playing at USC and Smith playing for Penn State. Echegini, the only U.S. college soccer player on Nigeria's roster. Meanwhile, 90 minutes through, and it's a little bit of a cramp coming up for Osinachi Ohale. And a lot of options in the ball, a lot of options going forward. It's been that kind of day for Nigeria. It looks like Ohale, it's a non-contact foul. I mean, she honestly just kicked the ball and it caused her leg to cramp up. So that's not something you want to see, especially in stoppage time, especially since it is your starting center back. She'll be off to the touchline to get some treatment. But nonetheless, stoppage time here from Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. 0-0 between Nigeria and Canada. Not many chances could that change here in the next few minutes. Chance here, Echegini, or Echegini, I should say. This one picked off, and Canada's got it right back. Maybe a chance to really do some damage. Lacoste here, maybe a 2-on-1. Lacoste's going to keep it herself. Now she's going to cut, able to take it off there. Can't tell who it is, but great play there. Might have been Ochebe, I should say. Nigeria on the other side. Kanu can't play it through for Echegini. So far, woman of the match has to be Chiamaka Anandozie. Quinn hips it up. Here's Lawrence on the right-hand side. Out towards Quinn. Try to get her bearings right. Gets it off towards Haitama. Haitama into the box. Headed away. Good work there by Nigeria. Meanwhile, here come the Super Falcons the other way. That's picked off there by Chapman. She's got the ball back. Out towards Prince on the left-hand side. Prince dancing against Alozie. Alozie able to win that battle. Now she's in the corner, and Prince is the one giving pressure. Thrown for Canada. We still have not gotten any indication of how much stoppage time we are getting, by the way. And we've been maybe playing for 2 or 3 minutes. Don't know if the ref is just keeping it the way it is, if there hasn't been any indication. I mean, we have seen a few injuries, but nothing really consistent, especially nothing near the 90 minutes. Meanwhile, Schmidt into the box, just deflected away by Inadozie. All right, now we've got 8 minutes. We're about 4 minutes through. Looks like Inadozie might have touched it. She did. They may be big. Chance here, Schmidt whips the in-swinger into the box, punched out, and actually punched off to the side, rather. It's lucky that a Canadian did not get a touch to it, as that's once pipped up. No touch from Canada. Now looks like there might be some other injury notions to be made of. And Mendozier trying to stay on her feet. Looks like there were a lot of bodies flying there in the middle and might have actually collided with her own player on that. We have to move there. Abiodun knocked out. That will stay with Nigeria. What a result this would be. I mean, not too many people expecting New Zealand to get a result against Norway. Not too many people expecting Nigeria to get a result against Canada. After this is Nigeria's first matchup against a CONCACAF team in a major tournament since the 2015 Women's World Cup. They played the U.S. and they lost 1-0. Abby Wambach with the winner on that day. Another legend in women's soccer. Christine Sinclair had a chance to make it 1-0, although she failed from the penalty spot. Lawrence tried to play out to Lacoste. Nifty touch here, edge of the box. Her cross deflected into the side netting. Another corner kick for Canada as we enter towards the dying embers. And a yellow card, actually, for Nigeria. Again, might have been Abiodun getting in the mix. Only one Nigerian has gotten a yellow card today. That has been Blessing Demehin. I think it might be Abiodun getting the yellow card from what it seems like, where the cameras are pointing. Nonetheless, about 2 minutes or so, probably more like 3 minutes left in stoppage time. And it looks like the ref is checking for VAR. For what? And I can't tell. Sorry, that's something on me. But they might be checking for. Oh, they're checking for a red card. Yes. They're saying Abiodun might have stepped. Oh, yes. Yes. She stepped on Lawrence's ankle. Not only that, not only did she step on it, she stepped on it with studs up. Usually studs up, regardless of where it is a red card. And that was a pretty rough cut from where it was. It was a pretty quick check at the VAR station. And it's a red card. So for the second time today, Nigeria is on the receiving end of a VAR call being reversed. Deborah Abiodun is sent off, meaning for the next few minutes or so, Nigeria will have to see this one out down a player. Again, 0-0. Canada's had majority of the chances. There was a penalty kick in the 50th minute that was saved by Nigeria's goalkeeper, Chiamaka and Adozie. And maybe a chance to get something forward. We're in the last stretch. Dying stretch here. Schmidt into the box, lifting it up, punched away. It's still up in the area. Haitama has to turn to get the ball on goal. It ends up not happening. Either way, cleared. All the way back to Chapman, who was the last player back for Canada. That is in terms of field players. Again, thanks for tuning in, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, as this one's pipped up, still in the area, now cleared away once again. Schmidt seen out there. Kanu with the last touch. We are past 8 minutes of stoppage time. Can Canada steal 3 points at the death? Or does Nigeria have something up their sleeve? Quinn into the box, punched away by Enadozie. Maybe a chance for Nigeria to counterattack, but it's quickly strung back. Lacoste fighting in the area. She goes down. No foul called. Still there, and it's another clearance away. And now it's a foul on Canada. Yellow card will be given towards Evelyn Beans. So 8:49, still a tie game. What it seems like, yeah, it looks like Beans. Oh, got a full piece actually of Ohale. Speaking of which, Nigeria is down a player. They've been down a player maybe for 1 to 2 minutes, so not too long, but enough that Canada could get a breakthrough. Let's see. And then Dozier readies. She'll send it forward. And Chapman will send it forward for Canada. goes out towards Nigeria. Maybe a chance for them, or does the final whistle blow? Randy Waldrum making sure his players are in the right spot at the right time. And for Bev Priestman, it's not been an ideal day for Canada. Played back, and Sheridan plays it out towards Lawrence. Lawrence picked up close, but not too close. This one back by Uchegeni. Kanu trying to do some magic herself. Out to Ejigini, and that is going to do it from Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. Cheers of joy for the Super Falcons as they end out with a point at the end of the day, a scoreless draw here in Melbourne between Nigeria and Canada. No goals, and more importantly, a save, a crucial save for the Nigerian goalkeeper Chiamaka and Adozie in the 50th minute on the highest goal scorer in FIFA history, Christine Sinclair, diving to her left while Sinclair shot to her right and was able to keep it scoreless. So that does it for Group B play at the end of match day 1 in the group. Australia starts up in first with 3 points. It's a tie for second between Nigeria and Canada, who split the points today with 1. They also have 0 goals forced, 0 goals against. And it wraps up with Ireland in last place with 0 points, but only a -1 goal differential. Once again, thanks for tuning in to this presentation. And once again, my live reacts for the 2023 Women's World Cup. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're doing it on YouTube or on Instagram Live. We will be back on both platforms tomorrow for what should be a great game as the United States take on Vietnam. I'm Mahir Hassan. So long, good night, and stay safe.